Oscar, how silly is the word megalopolis?
And yet it's a beautiful word to spell, isn't it? That's the kind of the...
Is it?
It is.
Feels like Hippolopolis.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like you don't get an LOP very often, you know? Yeah.
No, you don't, do you?
No.
Except for in the alphabet.
Well, okay.
LMNOP, huh?
Fuck, okay. Well, you kind of got me there. My name's Oscar.
My name's Carl.
And
This is Who Would Watch This?
Welcome to Who Would Watch This, the podcast who watch a film, chat about the film, and then try and figure out who would watch this.
Today we have a special treat.
Special treats.
Oscar
It's why we're late.
That's why we're late. We've given ourselves the allowance to be 4 days late. It's definitely not because we have been lazy. Let's go. We saw Megalopolis at the Sydney Film Festival, and it currently has a 6.9 on IMDb, a 3 on Letterboxd, and a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oscar, what's the plot?
Ooh, okay. An architect wants to rebuild New York City as a utopia following a devastating disaster. Clean and cut and to the point. Carl?
What a lie. What an absolute lie. Whoever came up with that, it's like Francis Ford Coppola put the script into ChatGPT and was like, what's this about? And
Then
ChatGPT
killed itself, just like, oh my god. Carl, this might be a similar episode. We might have a little chat. But for the most part, just the background. This is a $120 million project by Francis Ford Coppola. It has struggled to find a financer. I think it just found one, Lionsgate.
Yeah, Lionsgate's just picked it up for America. I think it has European distribution.
Yes.
And I don't know what the go is with Australia. But people are going to get to see it late September.
Yes.
And for some reason, it's going to get... We both saw it on IMAX. We're
Yeah.
at the global IMAX premiere, I believe. I'm pretty sure, which is crazy to me. We sat in front of...
George Miller.
You
were there. I was there. I got a late
you didn't
seat.
sit in front of George Miller.
And maybe this is Francis' in purpose, but the whole screen was. I couldn't escape this movie. Every left and right, I couldn't see. It was fantastic. But anyway, Carl.
Oh yeah, you being far down the bottom. It looked like Megalopolis was going to absorb you.
Oh yeah, everyone's hands were huge. That's my being critique and my positive for the
Yeah.
film.
So in a way, we have a third host this evening, and it's George Miller's reaction, which I've gauged thrice throughout the screening. Maybe it's going to throw him under the bus. I don't know if he's friends with Francis Ford Coppola, but I'm going to hypothesize he didn't love it.
Carl, do we just get straight into
I think we
Megalopolis?
should throw out at the beginning.
So,
I think
yeah,
we should absolutely say, look, if you have any interest in watching Megalopolis, don't let it be spoiled.
Yes.
For you. I think,
and that's and maybe we'll have different opinions by the end of the film, because it's a mixed bag. Oh, you give me a look. I keep changing. The main enjoyment of this film is going into it blind and just reacting to everything that pops up. I think it's very different to all the other movies we've done. Normally, well, it wouldn't be like Wild Wild West and this. You know, they're different.
so funny. My notes comp the two of them. I'm not even joking.
All right. Well, John.
I'm just saying, look, if you want to see a filmmaker fly so close to the sun, they accidentally burn their $120 million wings, by all means, go and watch it. But I think it's best experienced not knowing anything. So if you do have any interest in it, I would recommend waiting till September, circling back to this. But if you do want to be spoiled in detail, we will be going into every minute aspect of the movie because it is just bonkers.
I don't think even we have anything to say. I just think we want to repeat what happens just so we're both aware that that's what happened.
Well, I think, I need acknowledgement that we saw the same film.
Yes, okay.
So I think that'll be
It'll be
what's in
interesting to
depth.
see what we got, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Carl, the film opens. Adam Driver is on top of a building. He this is the trailer. He steps outside and he falls off. He goes, "Stop time." Our protagonist right now, Caesar, can control time.
Boom. And then goes Megalopolis.
Yes.
A fable. Important to know it's a fable,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Remember when you watched the movie Jackie? Oh, not Jackie. Spencer? And it's like Spencer's a fable.
But that feels like a legal thing. They're like, we don't know what happened at that Windsor
It
castle.
feels like they said a fable because they're like, we're gonna embellish and you know. And I think this one says a fable because they need you to understand that this is nonsense. They need you to know right off the bat, you're like, oh, does he have the power to stop time? Or do artists just stop time? And he's saying, it's a fable. I'll never tell you.
Yeah.
And that's really
I ain't holding your
important.
hand, man. You're gonna figure this out. You fable into it.
Francis Ford Coppola's fucking throwing you to the wolves. He wants to make sure that you.
It does feel like constantly a wolf is attacking you. It kind of feels like you're in a dog fighting ring and you've not got a knife and you're just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Every scene kind of happens.
Oh, the movie mentally assaults you from the get-go as well, like so quickly. From the moment you see Adam Driver's weird haircut,
Yes.
you go, oh.
Everyone has like a Caesar haircut, like the Mark Zuckerberg one he's rocking.
Yeah,
It's powerful.
absolutely. You mean Caesar from Planet of the Apes?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Imagine that little monkey with a little fringe. He would go hard.
Oh, he'd be so big.
God, him riding that little horse.
He'd be famous forever. I haven't seen the new one. I assume
Is that
he
what
is.
you think Caesar's famous for? The haircut?
Yeah.
Like that dude was
Wasn't he the first ape to get a haircut?
Yeah.
Isn't that why he's famous? He was the first. They went to go and shave him bald, and he went, no! And they gave it style, and everybody went, that's us. All
Give
the
it
orangutans were like,
4 films. We need to see this guy getting a haircut in various areas. Okay, that's Caesar. He's our protagonist,
Yeah.
Adam Driver. We've
Yeah.
also got...
just so you know, the movie is set in New Rome.
Yes.
So it's not set in New York, it's set in New Rome.
IMDb got that wrong.
Yeah. On top of that, the main character's name is Caesar.
Yep.
And we should all remember, there is no subtlety. You are taking the whole movie at face value.
I think that, and that is really the biggest difference in this film. If you sort of want to go along with sort of like the imagination, sort of delve in, and this is what I'm kind of vibing. I'm think afterwards, I'm kind of like, listen, I'm gonna give it a bit of leeway. If you don't give this film any leeway, you're gonna be
you're not gonna have a good time.
You're gonna be smacked in the face.
You need to accept the world.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Look, the movie, I think, does a good enough job of being like, this is the world that this is taking place in.
Yeah.
And I accept that.
Yeah.
I accept when Shailene Woodley's in the world of Divergent. I can give it that length of rope. It's not my fault they then fucking hang themselves with it. You know? Like, it's not my fault their world falls apart.
I don't know what part falls apart for you.
Sorry? I think maybe the entire concept of their society maybe just doesn't make sense.
Well, let's get into the mayor. We got
Giancarlo Esposito plays the mayor. It's pretty crazy. So Caesar is the head of architecture and design of the city.
Yes.
Right? And then we have Giancarlo Esposito. He's the mayor.
He's the mayor.
Yeah. We introduced then to Giancarlo Esposito's daughter.
Yes.
Played by that lady from Game of Thrones.
Natalie Menal.
Yeah. We then also meet John Voight, who is the head of banking in New Rome.
Yep.
And
He's the richest man in all New Rome.
he's the richest man in all of New Rome. Like how John Voight was in the 80s, you know, when people respected him.
Oh yeah, Midnight Cowboy made billions. That's the thing
did.
about that. Then we also get essentially we're in this like dusty old warehouse. They've got this rickety ass like I don't know what you'd get on like a Wild West ride.
Yeah.
In the line.
Yeah.
Like when you're lining
Yeah,
up.
it is. It feels like when you're lining up to like the Tower of Terror
Yes.
in Disney World.
We get some pretty fun characters and some characters that really go nowhere. We got Dustin Hoffman. He's the minister. He's the fixer. I googled this. I didn't.
Oh,
realize
really? He's the
that's-
fixer?
That's the job.
I'm going to tell you right now, Dustin Hoffman has one of the most incredible character arcs I have ever seen in film.
This is beautiful. We'll get to him soon.
We can wrap it up right now.
Let's wrap it up right now.
Let's wrap it up right
Let's put
now.
a nice little bow.
He does 3 things. In his opening scene, he yells, steel, 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 concrete, concrete, concrete. In the next scene that he's in, he then gives $100 million to get to make sure a 16-year-old girl doesn't lose her virginity. And then the next time we see him, he's dead.
He is crushed
So he
to
has
death.
He's
cut it. We cut away to him being crushed by the steel and the concrete, and he's dead. And that's him out of the film. And my God, it might be his performance of the year.
It looks like Francis Ford Coppola's check bounced, and Dustin was like, "I'm not coming in today. You can CG me in screaming under some cardboard pillars falling, but I shan't return to the film."
We also get introduced to Shia LaBeouf's character,
Yep.
who I think nails it. I don't know what he got told, but I think he matches the vibe.
He
of
nails
the
the
film.
brief.
Yes.
There's 2 actors in particular that, in my opinion, nail the brief of the movie. It is Aubrey Plaza and it is Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
Okay? Those are the only 2 that realize they are maybe in the silliest movie ever.
And yet
they
elevate it to a point.
they
that-
elevate, like they're meeting the tone.
Yeah.
I think like it is. They are giving Chris Tucker's character in The Fifth Element. You know, they're giving those weird movies where you're just like, only one of you is aware of what the movie is, and that's why they're enjoying themselves here.
Yes.
You know, the movie reminded me of like the Imaginarium of Dr. Panossus, where you're just like, this is just all over the place.
It is all over the place. I am constantly, while like reeling, I was writing down all the points of what happened, and it is flip-flopping. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. But we should get into WoW Platinum.
We should get into this opening scene.
Let's get into WoW Platinum. Aubrey Plaza, who is nailing this. I don't know where it really bleeds out, but every scene she's in, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Love it.
She's playing WoW Platinum.
Yeah.
WoW Platinum has her own
She's a foxy reporter.
She's got her own TV network.
The world building is crazy because it's just sort of like it's Rome, but it's New York essentially.
I think let's throw out a compliment.
Yeah.
I want to throw out there'll be a lot of compliments throughout the discussions. One of my big compliments is I love how they have depicted modern Rome.
Yes.
Like if the Roman Empire never fell, and this is what it turned into, I love the choices they've made on some of this. Like I think whoever's done the sets, art design, costuming, tick, tick, tick.
It's really fun, isn't it? Sort of those like 20s films of like massive sets. I mean, some of it, but just it looks beautiful. All the costuming is fucking amazing.
It reminded me of the how the Capitol is depicted in the Hunger Games movies.
Yeah, gotcha.
That like outlandish costuming.
I think it's even nicer though. Like it's just like those like what's that Metropolis? Like, it's that sort of vibe of that sort of like, but like a modern day. It's really cool. I love it.
So I think the depiction of New Rome is very good.
Yeah.
I think money has been spent there and it has been spent well.
Yeah.
And so you shan't hear me talking shit about costuming, set design, any of that stuff. Now, this opening scene, though, where we literally meet every character.
Yes.
Every single character at once. Is just crazy. What writing is this?
It's such an odd script because it seems like he was making it for 40 years. 20 years, he was like, nah, I'm going to make it. And we'll get to the big scene where he's like, good, I need to do some heavy rewrites. It happened around 2001 in New York. But the writing is so 80s, and it's crazy to see it like in a modern film.
Yeah.
I kind of love it. There's certain bits where you're like, oh no, Francis, you are an 85-year-old man. Very out of touch, but some of it works.
No.
This is very play-esque. Like,
yes, it is very play-esque.
Yeah.
It is like his only understanding of how to introduce any character is to have them enter this scene. And any character that didn't enter this scene, he must have been like, they might as well not be in the film and just cut them out. Because everybody's here.
We really get everyone. Have
Jason
we missed anybody?
Schwartzman's here.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't
I've
do
got
anything.
anything to say
He doesn't
about
have
him.
anything to do. Jason Schwartzman's might as well just be here because I assume he was
I think
free.
it's set dressing, surely. Some of these, like, it feels like every big actor, I don't know if Francis was just like, hey, I want to hang out, but, like, every scene, I'm like, damn, what is he doing? And then he's gone, you're like, I guess that was good.
Everyone's doing a walk-on.
Yeah.
Everyone's just walking on for the shortest amount of time ever. This is where the movie gets into a weird rhythm at the beginning, which is like no scenes ever like carry on from one another.
No.
It's like a whole new movie's beginning every scene.
I really can't stress it. It is 40 years of a man going, I've got all these ideas, okay? And I'm going to put them all in the movie. And you go, whoa, that's a lot of ideas and a lot of characters. Like, fuck off. We're going to figure it out. So you'll get like a scene and you go, okay, we're going here. This is where we're going. And then the scene's like, don't you even dare.
Don't look back.
We're going to Adam Driver and his dead wife. You're like, whoa, I thought we were doing time. They're like, no. We've got a dead wife to flog, I guess. And he's going to be a sad man.
So we find out that Adam Driver is just blowing up housing.
Yes.
And because he's making way for his new concept of the city.
What do we think? Because I am torn of whether he's like meant to be just pretty much he's good and there's evil.
Yeah.
Are we meant to... and this is some of the thing I'm liking about the film is that I'm like, are we meant to just completely trust that he's just the good guy? However, it's very... not self-inserty, but it definitely feels like Francis Ford Coppola going, well, I'm Adam Driver, and Adam Driver's pretty sick. He's the architect, and dreams are kind of the best, and you know what? People that get in the way are kind of like freaking the worst.
Yeah. I don't think Adam Driver's character... I think Adam Driver's character's a villain. I think everybody's a villain, to be honest. It's about working out whether or not we're meant to be having like a nuanced discussion where all the characters in a moral grey area, or whether the writing's just never decided.
The more I think about it, I don't think they really... I don't think characters matter. I think that's a compliment to the film. I think it's more like here's some ideas and presenting. I don't really know what he's trying to do here. I like parts of it, but I don't know if we're meant to take the characters really at any value. I think
Yeah.
they're just vehicles for the ideas.
But I think that's what sucks is because I think Shia LaBeouf and WoW Platinum
Yes.
have very fun characters.
Yes.
And I would have enjoyed to see everything those characters do and play out. My
Which is
issue-
because they are like the third and fourth maybe characters, and they're really given no screen time.
they're the ones that are, but they're the ones that are backed up by performances that are having fun, and they're given the most to do. Like Shia LaBeouf is creating a rebellion with the people that are being unhoused,
Yes.
and then WoW Platinum's trying to take over the banks and
Yeah.
become essentially
Yeah.
become the owner of.
She marries John Voight.
Yeah. So, but it's one of those things where I'm like, those two characters actually have a lot more motive and are being a lot more deceptive and fun. And I guess they're the ones that are bringing in conflict. Because it was my understanding when we were going into this movie that Adam Driver was going to have a lot more conflict with Giancarlo Esposito, and they don't.
And
they just sort of don't like each other.
I don't think they like each other, but I just don't even think it is even a movie that's trying to do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going for... And then you're kind of like, all right, so we're not doing characters, and we're not doing arcs, and we're not doing... They don't even represent anything. So you kind of go, what's left? And you kind of go, we've got some imagery. You go, do we? So yeah, I'm confused. However, I'm giving the movie maybe a bit more leeway. I'm fine with
I'm
the characters...
still giving the movie everything. I mean,
Yes.
we're literally 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that it looks different. I am enjoying that it's a bit wacky. So it's still got me 100% invested,
Yeah.
and I'm keen to see where it's going to go. We get introduced to the governor's daughter, which is
Yep.
played by
Natalie Emanuel?
which is played by Natalie.
Yeah.
She comes and meets Adam Driver.
Yes.
And I think this is where the fact that this is a self-funded movie starts to show.
Yes. I think it's tough to defend the movie sometimes when scenes like this exist. And you kind of go, man, I'm happy to give it a bit of leeway, but some of the blocking here and some of the pacing and some of the acting and some of the just choices in dialogue are odd. It is an 85-year-old man writing a romance, and that's really where the film probably is at its worst.
There's like flat out Adam Driver's having a conversation with her, and he like has his jacket taken off and replaced by like nearly the same jacket.
Which I think's funny.
Yeah,
That's a good
but
bit.
do we think it's meant to be funny?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. I don't think there's lots of scenes where I'm like, that's...
Because this scene got a lot of laughs.
Yes.
And I don't think
I
the
think that-
audience was
no.
laughing with the movie. I think they were
No,
starting to
I
laugh at
I
it.
think the coat was definitely a ha ha ha.
Yeah.
However, this blocking scene where she comes into her plan is pretty much to, because she's the mayor's daughter,
Yeah.
is to kind of fuck with him,
Yeah.
and so,
she's like, she was like, I tried to be a doctor, and he's like, yeah, but you dropped out, didn't you? And she's like, oh, well, I sold my stethoscope for drugs.
Yes.
And he's like, huh. And she like walks over to some bottles on the ground.
It's an odd blocking
weirdly
choice.
out of frame.
Yeah, you've really got to
sort
like...
of knocks him a little bit, and it's just like, you're drinking, huh?
And it's like 2 bottles.
It's not that. It's not a ludicrous amount of bottles, but it's weird that if Adam Driver's character is getting drunk, he's putting them in a nice little pile in the
Yeah.
corner for her to judge.
He's a kind
Might
drunk.
as well be like if you walked over to my recycling bin at the end of the week and you were like, you're an alcoholic, and it's like, well,
It's mainly milk.
it's,
Okay, it's mainly
it's
milk.
mostly milk
Yeah.
in cans. You know, like you can't judge a man on that.
No, of course not. This scene is just very oddly paced,
It's,
and
the dialogue's not snappy.
No.
Adam Driver has this weird joke that doesn't land. They have like this weird interaction that is meant to be a joke.
Yeah. They're pretty much like, she's like, hey, did you win a Nobel Peace Prize? And he mishears it. And then he's like, what are you drinking? He's like, you don't normally drink a freaking Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, it's like something along the lines of that, and you're like, oh, okay.
There is...
I remember under my breath going, huh.
Yeah. I am very much on the mixed play of where... I can't wait to rewatch this. I think that's where we differ very much. Because you look like a disgusting face. And half of me is also like, I'm almost happy to leave it there and be just a distant memory of what it was. Because I don't know what was on purpose. Because our audience was loving it. But he is...
The experience was very fun. Like
Yes.
a packed out IMAX screening, nobody knows what to expect.
Yeah, every
I
scene
think
assaults you.
everybody had gone out of their way to go to this and book tickets to it. So it felt like everybody was in the mood to enjoy it at a minimum. Regardless of whether they were going to love it or dislike it, everybody was there to see this massive
It's
swing,
interesting. $120 million from one of the best directors ever. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So after this scene transpires, he's like, come on, me and you are going to have a connection, I guess. And they go downstairs. And he's got like an office that's just essentially filled with garbage, and he's just like, walk across it. What do you see? And she like walks across all of his garbage and is like, I see a beautiful world. And I'm like, what are you seeing here? What are you seeing here in Megalopolis?
I don't know. Again, I think as there's films that differ. You know, you have to be like, let's give you a lot of leeway. This is insane, this building. And dare I say, I'm not on his side. I can get dreaming at Utopia, but...
How is she dreaming this
Well,
same
because
thing?
I think she has the power of...
She also can stop time,
Yes.
which I mean, I think she understands art?
I think she sees the
Yeah.
value in art. I think that's what time stopping is.
Yeah.
And I think it's savoring that moment
Yeah.
of looking at a building.
Because I guess WoW Platinum only sees money.
Yes.
You know?
Yes,
I
exactly.
guess they
She's a
do
fat
see
cat
art.
in Wall Street, and that's what Adam Driver hates. He is also very wealthy. I think that's also my issue with all these characters, is that so much of Francis Coppola is in this, so every character is at the height of
Yeah, it's high society,
high
isn't it?
society, and
Yeah.
it's like which one's which.
It
and
would be nice because the only time we see like low society,
they're behind a chain link fence.
it's just children behind fences looking at the movie taking place. There's like 40 shots of children at a fence. It was just crazy. It was like they only had B-roll of children at fences, or they bought it from a fucking stock place
But
online.
they look pretty standard. It's because it is just New York, but it seems
Yeah.
like all high society's wearing all Roman stuff.
That's right.
So
And then
you'd be
everybody
like,
else.
you'd be in Brooklyn, just like, did you hear what they're doing to Central Park? It's going crazy. They're making utopia out of it.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Is Adam Driver's concept of his utopia that everybody lives there for free, or is it just for high society?
I gotta tell you, the mayor makes a very good point, and I get this, the anti of the movie, but he goes, what about schools? What about garbage men? What about all these things? Adam Driver looks out on his big clock thing, we'll get to the clock, he goes, you fucking loser.
You don't get it at all, do you?
Again, that is normally in a Shakespeare sonnet or something from a book I haven't read.
It's weird that it isn't like on this level of I thought it was definitely going to be like Adam Driver's trying to set up Megalopolis, and Megalopolis is like a whole new architecture of what a city could look like.
Yes.
But he's actually pitching a whole new world.
Yes.
Like a whole new society.
He's a dreamer, Carl.
No, but it's like...
He's a dreamer.
It's like, yeah, rebuild the building, but you're essentially telling people how to walk and breathe and drive and
Yes.
everything like that. Like,
Yeah.
he's knocking down homes to put up high society for the rich. So he's not a hero. Like...
Now, hang on. He found a new element called Megalodon.
Okay, let's talk about this element. Because this element gets unveiled at WoW Platinum and John Voight's wedding.
It's like a mock Colosseum. The Colosseum...
It looks sick.
The Colosseum looks amazing.
It looks awesome.
I'm in the film. However, we are now in the film, and the film goes, let's stay at the Colosseum for a while. There's lots of things happening at the Colosseum. One, John
Some
Voight...
might say too much.
Well, Platinum and John Voight getting married. That's, a D plot. We've got the main event, which is essentially everyone's there to not only celebrate their marriage, to essentially all society.
We're gonna watch a little wrestling.
Yeah, we're gonna watch a bit of wrestling.
We're gonna watch some rope work.
Yep, a trapeze.
Yeah.
John Voight's all in on trapeze.
His character fucking loves the trapeze.
They are loving the trapeze.
Some guy almost dies on it. John Voight's character's like, that is thrilling. I don't even care about the wedding.
Yeah.
More trapeze work.
We also now get, and this is completely left out of field, they're like, hey, by the way, we're also here to sponsor this 16-year-old girl. She's a virgin. What do we think about that? And everyone is giving money to make sure she doesn't fuck.
Yeah, so I think I'm also gonna throw out the movie is traveling at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
However, it's not moving.
Sorry, at this point, Adam Driver's now ODing on drugs, just by the way.
No, so the thing is, Adam Driver has made this new element. This new element has been put onto this woman's dress.
Yes.
And it makes her see-through.
Yes.
And I guess that's cool or whatever.
Yeah.
So she is a pop star. She's 16 years old, and she's built her career on being purity.
Yes.
Like her concept of how she sells music is purity.
Yeah.
And tonight they're all going to spend money on keeping her purity.
Yes.
So the bets are going off. As
I think they're pledges. I don't think they're bets.
oh well, they're pledges.
Either way,
Yeah.
bad.
Either way, it gets to $100 million,
Yeah.
which is Dustin Hoffman's bet. You know,
Yeah.
one of the big moments for his character of 3. During this scene, the singer is getting duplicated in the sky. How's she
this is-
doing? Has she
it's
got a
quite-
power?
I don't know if she has a power, but it's a cool.
'Cause I do
effect.
wanna-
Everyone's on like these moon sort of like scaffold things that she's multiplying. I think it's just sort of an effect.
Yeah, but is she multiplying?
I don't think she's multiplying.
Then what's going on?
I think it's a trickery.
Because when they come back down, she's still 4, and then they all merge into 1, and then another like 10 people come, and they're just dancers.
Okay, well, you were at the Taylor Swift concert, so I think you saw Taylor do the exact same thing. And
She did near.
Yeah.
She did near do the same thing. But I was still just confused at what the world was saying, which is, have we got the technology to make it look like she's duplicating?
I think just look like it.
Yeah.
Okay? Saying that, though, they do have, like...
But why have backup dancers then, if you just want to duplicate everybody?
Carl, I'm going to be honest. This was by far low tier of what I'm going on, like, movie-wise. I don't care if there's multiple
This
people.
is the only thing I want to talk
That's
about.
crazy. This Colosseum bit
joking,
has
I'm
got
joking.
a myriad of things.
I'm just bringing up that I think now it's coming to the point that I had given this world setup a lot of leeway and enjoyment, and I'm not saying it's not visually nice, but they're starting to do things for the sake of it. Just this is now just I'm trying to make it look interesting, without any sort of like merit, and they're not actually. I'm like at least do stuff within your world or explain what is going on.
Yes.
Like it's a cool effect that it's like she's got a see-through dress on that makes her invisible, and the sheen is cool. It looks sort of like in Blade Runner when they sort of meet up their hands, and you're like, they've gone out of their way to put something in world to have a good visual effect for this moment.
Yes.
She's just up there singing, and now I'm like, so we're just going to be throwing stuff at the screen for the sake of there being visually interesting stuff.
Yes, you are right. This film goes, let's do a lot of visuals. I think it's got a lot of visual storytelling, not in the sense of a traditional film. They go, we got this thing, and it means something, and you're going to have to now figure that out. I don't think the film's holding your hand. I would like some time to go back and figure out what the hell that meant. I don't know what this meant at all.
Okay, good. We're in agreement.
We're in
I'm
agreement.
just saying, they're just doing stuff for the sake. I'm like, that's what having a good producer or having this is when you're like, oh, I've got a vision and I'm going to do this thing, and they multiply in 4, and nobody was there to go, why? You know,
yes. I don't know. I feel like I'm past that now. I'm past the film being a film. I feel like it's just like he wants to do this stuff, go nuts.
No, but I'm just saying, up until this point, he's put reason behind a lot of the visual choices. He's actually set up things.
Yes.
Anytime they're doing something visually weird, there is an in-world reason as to why that's occurring.
Gotcha.
This is the first time, and it then starts a trend with the rest of the movie that he's just starting to get I just want it to look like a thing.
Yes.
You know? I'm like, he's stopped being like, why is that there?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's fairs.
Yeah, that's all. And
Yes.
for me, it was the beginning of a turning
That
point
point that you're like, no.
where I just went, okay, but why? And now I'm starting. You never want to be watching a movie. If it was gleefully entertaining, I wouldn't even have the thought to be like, oh, why is that happening?
Yeah.
But it happened, and then it stopped happening, and I was like, but then why'd we do that?
I'm gonna give it more merit. I'm happy to go along with. I don't understand why it's not happening. And I'm happy to go. All right, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I agree. Pretty insane.
Yeah, because I think the reason we'll have a disagreement is I don't think the movie actually has anything to unpack.
See, that's what I think my issue is, because the more I'm thinking about it, again, it keeps changing hour by hour. But writing down the whole thing, I'm happy to sort of go out, and I would like to rewatch it and try and unpack everything that's been displayed, because it does feel like 50 years of just history, his life, every single little thing thrown at you. And I'm like, that's a lot, and it fucking assaults you. You're like, oh my god. And I think you're sort of just left with the visualness and the awkwardness. But I'm happy to give it another go. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
However, I will agree, I left absolutely shell-shocked, and all I had was questions.
Yeah, because I think, for me, I think he's just doing the fall of the... I just think he's just doing that. And nothing... I think he's just what if I...
Oh, you think he's just doing that?
Yeah, and I don't think he's actually got anything else to say or do or to pick. Because the weird thing is... Okay, well, let's just wrap up this thing with the
Yes.
teenage singer. Shia LaBeouf is excited. He's made a deep fake on a USB, and he's plugged it into the monitor there that has faked the fact that Adam Driver is having sex with
The virgin
yeah,
singer,
with the virgin 16-year-old, which does two things. It implicates the fact that Adam Driver has had sex with a 16-year-old, and two, that she is not a virgin anymore.
Yes.
And that upsets the crowd insanely.
Yeah.
Does Adam Driver know this is occurring? No, he's high as fuck to the right of this entire plot.
The visuals of him are endless.
They're
endless.
endless.
They keep going
They
back to the
don't
well.
stop.
No, it's a
You
long
might-
sequence.
For a while, I thought maybe this is the rest of the film. Like, maybe it's just going to be... It looks like just... Like, some of the effects, I think, look great, and some of the other ones just look like he really just was playing around on Photoshop.
It feels like that is probably my biggest issue, is like let's face it, sometimes the shots really nice. Sometimes it is like he went, so what can these Marvel films do? And he went, oh god, he booted up the Flash. And you're like, nuts. That's the bad ones. So some of it's just an 80-year-old man going, can we do this in post? And going, we can, but like we'll have to get Adam back in for the arms.
Yeah,
and
that's
gonna
right.
be exhausting.
Adam's going to be doing a lot of arm work, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess so. So he's just high for a while, and during this time, violence breaks out of the Coliseum over the fact that this chick has maybe had sex with Adam Driver.
Yes.
We start getting Confederate flags.
Yes.
And all of that other stuff.
Yeah.
And the tie-in of some of the stuff from our world is what also starts to throw me.
Yeah, I think if you take it as like, because I think it feels quite one note. A lot of the sort of messages, just like we're pretty hectic, aren't we? Pretty reactionary. Here's a Nazi flag and a Southern flag. You're like, ugh, okay, damn, that's quite, and it's almost. I think when you see that on screen, you're like, whoa, and it almost is played for laughs. It kind of ruins the moment, I think.
Yeah, but it's the first time they've also introduced like something from our world. Like for the most part, it feels like the movie's taking place in a whole alternate reality where Rome never fell, right?
I don't think it's Rome that's never fell. I feel like it's an alternate, like, I don't know, 100 years of New York history.
Right, okay.
That's where I think it's at.
Yeah.
Or it is a made up world. Or it could be all in his head. You take a pick, huh?
Either way, we know that it's in another world because our world does get spoken to. So we'll discuss that when need be.
That's very true.
But it is weird that they're just like, this is... I guess that fallout still occurred in whatever this high society is.
This is where I don't know if I like this part of the film, but I think it encapsulates the film. They go, all right, well, that's just happened. Guess what? Smash cut. She's now, sexy, and she's like, I'm not a virgin anymore. I'm a slut. And it cuts, and she's like, new album out now. I'm about essentially doing like a Miley Cyrus, I guess.
Yeah, it was essentially just like, this is essentially now it's just a commentary on like the music industry and eras that artists go through and stuff like that. Because it also turns out she was lying about the fact she was 16 and a virgin. Turns out she's, one, not a virgin, and two, is 23.
Yeah.
So
Adam Driver's one off the hook. He's fine.
Even though it was a deep fake as well. So it's almost like they came up with multiple things to be like, in case somebody missed the fact she was 23, they wanted to be like, no, and it was a deep fake.
Yeah.
So that's all. That entire plot is tied up and thrown away, and we never see that pop star again.
And then you're kind of left with this one sort of like, I guess that's the music industry. I don't know if that's bad or good, but just that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and there you go. And now we just sort of have vibes for a while.
We do have vibes for a while. We get, I guess the main thing is Adam Driver and Julia become more entwined. They become more in love. Would you say?
Yeah, I guess.
It's just him on top of this. It's essentially his...
They just talk a lot in the sky.
Yes.
That's just a lot of what they do.
A lot of it's just like, I don't know, they're on a big clock in the sky. They've got big steel girders. And they're sort of just waxing on, musing on. And I'll be honest, the film is so overwhelming. You really just sort of... You just sort of let it happen at you. You're just
it
like...
does. It really washes over you.
Yeah.
They don't really talk of anything of interest or of merit. They just sort of chat.
They sort of chat, but it's like Shakespeare thrown in there. A lot of like Roman, like Marcus Aurelius, like all that sort of stuff.
I didn't like how cocky they were. So they just loved to stand on edges of buildings and chat. And I'm just like, could you have some sense of being like, I shouldn't be up here?
I don't know if like they just... Was this like his time, like is like Mind Palace? I don't know what
I
this
don't know,
was.
because they
Again,
seem to have connected in some way, right? Like
Yeah.
he sees
How do you get up here? Is there a little hatch
a
door?
ladder, maybe.
What if the clock hand is blocking your thing? You have
Absolutely.
to wait an hour until you get out of there.
It is really fun what Francis Ford Coppola has given these actors to play within these scenes. So he has definitely been like, oh, the blocking is just use the space.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, is there anything I'm doing with my hands? And he's like, I've got some toys from Kmart for you to just play with. This one's a color wheel, so you can use your color wheel. And this one's like a fake telescope, and you use that however you want. You could both use it if need be, but just make sure you use that with the color thing. Otherwise, it makes no sense. You just have the color thing.
I like he had like, well, guys, that's just going to be ridiculous. Let's not. And here's the thing. A lot of ridiculousness gets through. Mainly from WoW Platinum and Shia LaBeouf. I think there's lots of scenes where you can tell the improv is just, hey, go nuts. Audrey Plaza almost at one point looks around after like a little sentence, goes, no, that won't be in. Don't worry, we'll move on with the scene.
Some scenes are actually cut too late. Like they're cut a beat too late, where it feels like all the actors were just like, "Oh, you're gonna yell cut," and that's it. And then it's
you can kind of see like, what do you think of that, Francis Shai? Give it a bit more, and you can say, yeah, let's go. Well, I guess they get one thing. They go, let's go to the old district and look at some statues, some big statues.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
Let's absolutely... I've totally forgotten about this.
That's the thing.
This is my favorite thing in the film. I'd totally forgotten about it. It's in the trailer, but it's these big, like... These big fallen statues are awesome.
Yeah.
And I just like them because they're humans that have been painted and they're crumbling and they're moving. And they've been made to be like big and put on small, and it's just a cool practical effect. And it's the only time that I think when you look at Francis Ford Coppola's career, and he's done big blockbuster stuff before, it looks awesome. And so because he's making a lot of the movies use CGI stuff so far, I love this practical stuff with the statues.
It is weird what they pick and choose to be like, let's do practical, let's do a big, it seems like a green screen for most some of the stuff.
I thought this was actually the only cool thing for IMAX, was actually these statues.
Oh, gotcha.
And making them look Goliath, and making and the sound sounded so cool with them falling down.
Yes.
That to me actually showed the spectacle. I think between that and the Colosseum scene, those are the two sort of bits with really big spectacle.
I think the theme at this moment, also we should say, Lawrence Fishburne's kind of narrating. He kind of...
Oh, I forgot he was in this! Guys, he's useless.
He's useless. He's a driver and he lets Adam die.
The movie's part book, because they keep on just chucking up words on the screen.
I will say he's part book, but I think at one point Lawrence Fishburne is narrating, and then he kind of... The camera pans out to him and he kind of goes... No, that's pretty good though, isn't it? Winks the camera. He gets that was fun.
He finishes narration in scene at one stage, and we're like 40 minutes into the film, and they never do it again. Like
they do it once.
They do it
it's
once.
like he was like, "What do you think of that, Francis?" He's like, "We can fix it in the post." These statues are cool. I think Lawrence Fishburne's narration has been almost like the theme is the fall of Rome and sort of an empire. And I think it
when does an empire die?
Yes.
Is like the actual question the movie's trying to unpack.
Yes. Well,
when does it? No, like they.
I mean, it's literal.
Yeah,
yes,
I know,
they literally asked the question.
They're trying to do it. The only thing is, nobody has an answer. Like they're just like, I guess whenever leaves take over, like that's when
it's
an
when
empire
an
dies.
artist stops doing stuff.
I guess so. When artists like.
That's right. You as the painter, you freaking nail it.
Yeah, as somebody that is like for art, this movie feels anti-art. Like it feels like
feels like rich people could do art, but the poor people are gonna blow up your house. I swear, God, we've got a big motorway to make, and it looks beautiful.
We'll get to it We'll get to it at the end.
Sorry, yes, my whole point was the theme has been pretty much what's the fall, and I do think these statues really tie into. It's a bit like I like the imagery of.
Love it.
Yes,
I love it. I wish there was more of this. I wish there was an even...
What do you want to capture this? Because I think the film gives you a lot of other things, but I couldn't tell you what this is.
I think it's the fact that they're like... I think I would love even more of like what Adam Driver is seeing mentally. So I think we get a bit of
It's very loose. I think
it's too loose.
Yes,
because
but I think it's purpose. Like the purpose is that we don't really know what like his time powers are. We don't really know what his imagination is. We don't even know if this city is even being built.
Well, because on top of their time powers, they have telekinesis.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I think these.
But
just,
I think that's in-world technology.
I think it's in-world technology. Things can just float.
Yeah, I think they've got it on their wrist.
Yes.
That you can just control
they do.
things.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, but because that's in-world technology, it makes you think the time thing is technology, because I think that's a drug.
I don't think so. I think this is no way. I don't think this is a literal thing in the sense that I think the time is a magical thing. I don't think anyone else can possess this.
Right.
Yes. People
But
can.
she has it.
She has it. But I think it's just kind of... No, but like she hasn't bought like an iPhone. It comes with like an upgrade of like, oh, you can stop time now, by the way, for a couple of seconds.
Well, because it's one of those things where he can't stop her time.
Yes.
So if he stops time, she's unaffected.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, the interest there.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess it connects them. I guess they both see...
But that's why I thought they maybe had telekinesis, because nobody else is really using telekinesis, right?
I think Shia LaBeouf gets one scene where he's floating something in a hand. I couldn't tell you. I really could not tell you.
Yeah, I couldn't make heads or tails of it. It's really just fantastic, isn't it? Like
we should also get to the point now. I mean, if you want to, throughout the scene, people have been like, "Hey, by the way, Mayor, there's a satellite. Don't worry, it's gonna fall in the ocean."
Oh yeah, there's that guy reading the newspaper. This is actually quite funny. There's a guy just reading out the plot, I guess, to the movie. And somebody goes right, and he's like, "Where'd that guy go?" And they're like, "He went right," and he's like, "Then we'll go left."
Yes, he's a horny trombone player. He pops in back at the end. He's trying to sell his coat so we can get some coke.
Yeah,
that's a good arc. Nothing. Could be
it's up there with Dustin's.
Oh,
again, Dustin Hoffman has the best arc of the film. Then it's Trombone Man. These two arcs work.
Anyway, so we get essentially Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah.
Yeah, his arc is pretty much like, by the way, man, it's happening. Don't you worry. It doesn't even matter.
The satellites might fall on somewhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Not us. The satellite is falling on New Rome.
Yeah. They basically come in and they're like, hey, that satellite's falling, and just FYI, it's coming now. There's no way to stop it.
Yeah.
This, again, looks beautiful.
This is... I think I was like, okay, is this a metaphor for 9/11? Read the stuff behind it. Apparently, Francis Ford Coppola wanted to make this film, but then 9/11 did happen. And went, okay, tonally, that's not on. I can't make the film. Give it 20 years, though. Time heals all wounds. This is beautiful. This scene is stunning. You got these massive buildings with these shadows displayed on it, like depicting the horror.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's great.
And it's weird as well, because I think from the plot of what at least I thought heading in was, I thought this was going to decimate everything. So there'd be no choice but to either decide to rebuild it the same or to actually go with a vision.
What was their decision beforehand? Were they just like, it's going to be slow and painful?
I think so, and I think the fact
regardless
that
of what we do, and now it's built, we can make a proper choice.
Yeah, I think it's literally just through coincidence. And I think it's saying that sometimes coincidence, or not coincidence, but like how randomness in the world will sometimes bring up art, I guess. Like it'll cause somebody to have to do something.
Destruction causes art? Is that
I don't know if it's saying destruction causes art, but I think it's just saying the only reason he got his thing as quick as it was because of something random happening.
Yes.
And sometimes that'll just occur. Either way, when the satellites hit and everything blows up, the lights in the cinema come on.
Yes. I we knew this going in.
Yeah.
You guys don't know, say it, Carl. What happens? The lights go on, and I think everyone went. I looked around, and everyone was like, "Okay, it's either a fire alarm or the thing's happening."
Yeah,
and we were just like, everyone was giddy.
There was like no way that you'd bought a ticket to Megalopolis and didn't know there was going to be like somebody in the cinema to actually act. You know, like that.
It's the one thing everyone knew was happening.
Yeah, because you're just like, how are you distributing that?
Yeah,
you know. So the lights come on.
I do love the marketing behind like it's unsellable. Something you're like, man, I'm hyped for that film, and you go, no, it's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, cinemas can't win. Like, one, nobody's going to want to watch it. And two, this just makes it hard. Like, you know when you're like, a cinema's going to have Madame Web and you're like, cool, but it's like...
By the way, Dakota Johnson's going to come and spit in your face.
Yeah, that's right. Dakota Johnson's there to watch you watch Madame
Laugh
Web.
at you, just go, you idiot. She robs you.
So... an actor comes out and he asks Adam Driver, I'm going to tell you right now... there's an actor here talking to the screen and Adam Driver's replying, I didn't take a lot of the information in.
It takes you out of the film completely. And then it asks you the question of, was this, are we in this world? Because I guess Australia would exist in New Rome, but you can't be like, do we get nothing? Do we get none of the technology? We just have to watch New Rome, thrive? Anyway, the question is, it's pretty much like a journalist, like, hey, Adam Driver, what do you think of things? That's it.
It is. And Adam Driver's just like, I think that I think. And you're like, oh, okay.
It's a beautiful monologue, like, I think. I can't remember it at all.
It's not even a monologue. It's chopped up. Like, weirdly chopped up I
assumed there would be more. I thought it'd be back and forth. It's so weird it's one question. Although this was insane, I think knowing it definitely made it, dare I say, just comforting that I was like, oh, thank God, we're in a movie. Because at this point, I've been staring at a screen that I haven't been able to escape for an hour and a half.
I had, in the cinema, the person that they brought their girlfriend, and she had no idea that this was going to happen, and she was just so confused. Like, is a guy just ruining the screening right now? Oh, what do you mean he's talking to him? Like, even in my mind, I was like, oh, are they going to have a conversation? No, it is a single question, quickly answered, and then everything goes away. This could easily be cut.
And to the point
it's awesome conceptually, but it has zero actions on the film.
And I gotta tell you, in a perfect world, and this was a screening for people that are very happy, you go to Missouri, Texas, and you do this shit, I don't know how it's gonna play. Because you go to like a 12 a.m. matinee, I don't know. It works, but then also there's a beat where it definitely feels like they're gone, he might fuck up.
Yeah, if the actor fucks up or misses the cue.
Yeah, so Adam Driver's gonna take a pause. I wished it was more. I don't know, it feels so half-hearted. That's my issue with it.
Yeah, I was disappointed it was so short and seemed to do nothing and didn't really open any... Other than that scene happened, there's no further takeaway or discussion that can be had from it. Other than saying that somebody in the audience got up, asked a question, and the movie responded to them.
Yeah.
I think maybe it might have been... You know what they should just get? I think this is going to be the easiest thing to do. Just get some fucking school kids to do it. You know, like get a child to be like, Mr. Adam Driver, what's going on with the satellite? And you're just like, oh, childhood sense of wonder. Talking.
Oh, that's adorable. That's freaking adorable.
Don't you reckon? You'd be like, look at that kid talking to Adam. Look at them go.
Oh, but he has seen destruction of New Rome.
He has. I'd be like, child, are you asking a question because you too are confused about what's going on in this film? And the child would turn around and go, yes, sir, can I have a tuppence?
I gotta tell you, though, this was a rude awakening. Because I feel like a lot of my points have been after I reflect on the film. I gotta tell you, when I was in this moment, I went, oh God, this is the inciting incident, and we're so far in.
Yeah, I know,
We're so far in.
It felt like it had taken a while to get to the inciting incident.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I was pretty shocked when they cut back and they were like, we built it. I was like, oh, okay.
and you get Mayor Cicero going, oh, I didn't want them to build this, but they built it.
He's like a little bit more grey, hobbling around, and you're like, how much time has passed? They're like, I'm going to have a baby. All this stuff's occurring. On top of it, you're like, how much of this have you built? And Adam Driver's like, I've made a travel vader that works on light. Step on it, man. Step on it. And you're like, what do you mean? What world is this?
I don't know. It is crazy. Like, I get he is like a functional artist, and there's a lot to take away from this metaphorically. However, literally insane. He's like, I've decimated an entire block for these kilometer-long travelators. I'm talking, each room is like it's like an ant's nest, essentially. It's like, you'll get this big, empty cavern. We've got no furniture in there, but it doesn't look pretty from afar. It would be whole. On top of that, there's also, I don't know, bubble cars from Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
It's
just, this world sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, fuck, I'd rather live in that building over there. Like,
as mid-blowing up.
So in between this, you know, we've sort of also just skipped. Giancarlo Esposito has also just doesn't give a shit that his daughter's working with Adam Driver. I thought that was going to be a plot.
I think at the start, did she conspire with him? He was pissed a little bit, but I think he just sort of
Doesn't really go anywhere.
I don't even think that, and that's like, there's no attention given to these two characters as foils.
Yeah.
So I don't even want it doesn't feel like it's needed, you know?
Well, this is where I was in disbelief that this is what the movie is becoming. Because Adam Driver's like taking his essential in-laws back to his new home that he's built in this new land.
I do love the architecture. Again, it's like this beautiful... No, let me talk about it. It looks like, I don't know, you know that scene in Clyde Chan's Meatballs, the big jello castle? Like that, but with modern appliances, like just a tap.
Yeah.
It's weird there's just like a tap. And he's got this beautiful... I don't know, I guess the mayor's given him a casserole dish.
He's just stuck holding a casserole dish for like 4 scenes.
It's such... Like, you've got such high-end technology, and they've also got this like steampunk cameras, like with the big flash, and they're just like, well, this is a standard
It's
kitchen.
like your mum's casserole dish. Like literally your mum's casserole dish.
Go to your kitchen right now and open your... There's a casserole dish there. It's that one.
It's weird that so far the 2 big props of the movie have been like just like a hexagonal color wheel and a casserole dish, and those are the main things Adam Driver's been holding. Like...
It's crazy. Now, we get this scene.
So you know...
Oh, yes, go on.
Just so you know,
casserole dish?
what they're living in is an artichoke. It's just a fucking artichoke. It has... You can't even, like, nail items on the wall because they're living in a flower.
Yeah.
Which, in a sense, is robbing art. So what's the fucking point of this?
They sit down. Okay, here's the thing.
They don't sit down yet. Adam Driver has to get rid of the casserole dish.
Oh, yeah. He looks around and he's like... Well, this probably won't make it the cut. I'm just going to put it down here.
He's literally like, I've got to go put this away.
It's so purposeless.
He exits the scene to put the casserole dish away.
I assume on the craft table. Like, it doesn't feel like there was any way to
I assume he handed it to just a runner. Just been like, could somebody grab this? Just like, how you...
They must be like, oh, we're doing a flower house. This is not going to make the scene.
There must be like, is Sofia Coppola here to hold this casserole dish?
I feel like his whole fam was just around. Do you realize his sister's the mum?
Really?
Yeah.
Is that his sister?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like from Poor Things and Harry Potter?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for her. I really like that actress.
Yeah,
I
she's
love when she
great.
pops up and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah,
I
me
guess
neither.
it's probably one of those things like when you're making a student film and you need your parents to be involved.
Yeah, they're like, Jason Schwartzman, can you play, I don't know, nobody? Just this in the background? Like, yeah, I can. When do you pad the scene? Let me get me A-listers.
I like to think that this landed on Nicolas Cage's desk and he himself was just like...
100%. That's his mum. This is like, mum is his sister.
Yeah.
So Nicolas Cage was definitely aware that
he was definitely aware, and he was
going,
like,
who am I playing? I get crushed by a steel.
I yell, steel, 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 concrete, 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 and then die, and I bet $100 million on a 16-year-old virgin?
I like two of those 3 things, but Nick Cage likes a 3 out of 3 movie. That's all I'll do it for, okay?
He's like, this one's just called Long Legs. I won't read the script, but I'll assume it's better than this one. So they sit down.
Yes. They play bean poker. Carl, what's bean poker?
Bean poker is essentially, I think they're just looking at cards and flicking beans into a pot.
Like you would poker chips, but you're not kind of got like the flop or anything. You just keep putting a
It
pile
looks
of...
halfway between dominoes and cards.
You know, like in movies, how they use like, let's play chess, and that's us having a fight, you know, in our like dialogue, and it's all that's, you know, it's entwined in the chess game. Whoever wins the chess game has won the argument.
Yeah.
In this one, Adam Driver and the mayor keep just doing sonnets at each other and pushing more beans into the middle, and then you get a big pile of beans, and the wife goes, man, there's a lot of beans in this pile.
Literally, the scene's dominated by how many beans, and you're like, wow, there's so many beans there, to the point they have to call it out on screen, and somebody's like, does anyone actually know what the pot is or what we're playing? Because there's so many beans
They
in the
put the
pot.
cards down, go, let's get out of here.
Some of them just like, they've all got jokers, you know? Like, it's like, what were they playing with?
Oh, yeah. We get, so yeah.
But I was pretty amazed that we went from... The city gets decimated. We get a man in our audience talking to the screen. We get an artichoke building. We get a casserole dish, and then we get bean poker.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, who can make heads or tails of the quality of this film now? It seemed like... I'm letting you know this because it seemed like when I was in my head about whether or not those 4 pop stars mattered, it just seemed like they were like, no, fuck you. Just deal with the shit that I've made.
Yeah. It feels like that energy, and I keep flip-flopping with this is some of the worst things ever, and maybe it's beautiful. I don't know. I really don't know. However, Bean Poker puts it in the ladder.
I would play Bean Poker in a heartbeat, and I would never let the pot get that big.
Oh, you never... Well, that's the game of Bean Poker. You never want to let the pot get too big.
Crazy, too, they sit down, she's already laid out the beans. Like, she was like, after we go on the light travel vader out in the park, we know we'll end up at Artichoke Home to play Bean Poker. That's just how society
That's
works
Tuesday.
in Megalopolis.
That's a utopia, okay? Everyone knows that's how utopias work. The mayor is... I don't know. He's definitely angry at Adam Driver. He's lost... Sorry. The population, we are told, likes Adam Driver now more. And he might win the election, I think.
Oh, and they're versing each other in an election now?
I don't know if he's running for... But maybe I think they just... I don't know what the voting system's like.
Yeah.
I guess it's a democracy, but I don't know. But it seems like the population's more in favor. They want to go... Let's go with this utopia idea.
During this time, Shia LaBeouf and Audrey Plaza are just running around the background of the movie, being kooky, being fun, doing ridiculous things, having silly line readings. They're having a hoot. And I don't want you to forget that.
Yeah.
So it's just, but their plots don't really end up mattering to, like, they're so self-succinct. Like, the decisions made by Adam Driver, like,
I think Platinum's... Shia LaBeouf gets a little bit... So pretty much his background thing is he wants power.
Yeah.
And I think he goes, well, I'm going to become almost like a populist...
I can radicalize the people that don't have homing.
Yes. And sort of using very, like, nothing sentences to sort of like, hey, down with up there... And he sort of amasses, I guess, sort of like a very populist thing, a bit like Trump, sort of what's happening now. I don't know if it's Trump or if it's like sort of Roman like populism, but he's doing that, and that's sort of his platform. Anyway, one guy on his team is like, you know what we should do? We should kill Adam Driver. Classic.
This scene, I think, is like the best moment.
Man, I gotta tell you, yes, in the terms of like maybe tension, but when they had a little kid rock up to Adam Driver, all I knew was like, I know what's gonna happen. So that's my enjoyment. But go on,
because I think this is the best sound and the prettiest it looks is when the blood sprays on the book, like the gun goes off, the flare, like the fact a child does it. I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what's gonna happen now?
Again, Lawrence Fishburne's one job is to drive Adam Driver around and make sure he doesn't die. And
he's actually just meters away, watching a child talk to him.
Remember, he's like, move out of here, the car's blocking him. It's a wide road. And also, he does let this happen.
Like, this is like, just so you know, like, other than I think this moment being like a fun little moment of shock, so far, the movie's literally sort of done nothing. Like, I don't think it's...
Which feels weird, right? But when you really unpack it, you're like, man, a lot of spectacles happened, and a lot of
conversations have been had, but nothing's actually feels like it's really moved or happened. Like actually, a Colosseum's been stormed, and you feel like a big bulk of the conflict seemed to happen off screen.
Yeah,
which is pretty fucking frustrating to be honest.
Jason was like, "Oh my god, you wouldn't believe what's happening out of his window. No, focus on me. We're gonna focus on me." And they go, "Oh, it's a lot of destruction. Goodness Christ!"
It's like it was a 6-hour script, and somebody opened it and ripped out the middle. And Francis was like, "There you go. It's $100 million saved, and we'll have an actor in the crowd, and that's just gonna throw people." And you're like, "Okay."
You'll loosen you up. Like, oh my god. Now.
So Adam Driver is now shot in the head, and I'm like, oh, he's dead? This is super interesting.
This is crazy, because it's almost like, hey, what happens when your like leader, who is like pushing a revolution essentially, dies? And historically, not great things.
Yeah.
They go...
Which is what they're worried about, which is awesome.
Yes. Great stuff. I'm like, okay, damn, you've like set off this, like, how are the evil people going to abuse this technology? Great. They're like, nah, get this. Other than Megalodon being great at building hives and roads, it can also...
And dresses.
It can also fix DNA. Get me the DNA sequence, and I shit you not, like 90s paint, this DNA swirls around Adam Driver. His eye emerges with like, with CGI technology. Julia's holding his hand like... You're gonna be fine. Everyone gets shot in the eye occasionally.
Yep. She knows what to do. She did a year of doctoring and sold a stethoscope for drugs.
Adam Driver's back in a big way, but what happens, Carl?
So he's now lost an eye.
Yes.
He is constantly screaming in pain. He
Wears Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, he wears his little robe over his head like he is a pharaoh. At one stage, he takes it off and he split screens into 4 of them and just Egyptian music plays.
Yes.
And that's just it. Like, that's just how that is.
That's the reveal of his eye being gone.
Yeah, that's the reveal of his eye being gone. Is like, and you're just like, okay. And then I guess a scene later, his eye is back.
He is back. And he kind of, I think in that moment, he learns I think he has a dream sequence that his wife goes, hey.
There's another dream sequence.
Yes, his wife is like, hey, by the way, get over me dying, and you commit to the art.
Yeah.
We also get one of my favorite scenes. Favorite visual is that her dead body on painted backs of people, and then the painted backs reveal like almost the underwater scene.
And they turn to babies.
Yes.
Don't they? I think they all roll over
Yes.
into babies, and they.
Either way,
Yeah.
I think
It looks
great.
awesome.
It looks cool.
really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's back in a big way with the eye. I feel like after the film went, wait, where his eye just came back. It just comes back.
It just comes back. And frankly, you've given the film so much leeway at this point, I just went, fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
You know, like I was like, if I'm gonna... But also, as far as I know, it's just a fucking continuity error. Like, I mean, they might have shot the eye thing first and then forgotten he'd lost his eye like 90 days into filming. Like, you literally can't... Or they ran out of money to CG the eye. And they were like, well, we'll just do that in post. And then they were just like, there's no more money. Like, that winery sold for $40 million less than we thought it would. So just leave his eye out of this.
Okay. I think at this point...
Can we talk about his wife?
Yes. Let's talk about his wife. His dead wife?
Yeah, his dead wife.
Yes.
So,
what do you want to talk about? One, that she's kept in, like, his old house, which has security guards?
Yeah, so there's one scene in which Adam Driver's love interest is following Adam Driver. And Adam Driver goes into a building that has laser security.
Yes.
She then follows him upstairs and she sees him. And he is patting her body. Because we have been led to believe that he killed his wife.
Yes.
But it turns out she's actually alive. And she's just living in this hotel room.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to her POV. And Adam Driver's alone and is simply just playing with a pillow.
Yes.
Just almost like knitting with a pillow. And just believes his wife is there. And she just sort of looks and is like, he still loves her.
Yeah.
How did she deduce that he wasn't just like fixing like his friend Gary?
I gotta tell you.
He could have been thinking of anyone.
I gotta tell you, one thing, you would have walked up the stairs, seen the armed guards guarding an empty room, and I don't think you would have assumed this, but I feel like this happens a lot, and they've got a big sign that just gives you the gist.
Yeah.
Just so you're just like, hey, we know you've stalked Adam's driver. He's Caesar. This is his dead wife's tomb. He comes there time to time. We guard him. He has he has deep pockets. This is the vibe.
I'm surprised that there might
Can we also just talk about the murder of his wife? One, they're like, we found out she drowned in a car. No idea how she died. But it is told that the mayor was the DA at the time, and they told everyone that she died of an overdose on insulin.
Yeah. And that's Adam Driver's fault, but they let Adam Driver go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's very convoluted. I wonder if when she goes up into this building, she sees Adam Driver, they've just got a QR code there that's like, hey, so you've decided to follow Adam Driver. And just like a little rundown.
It's a little
like,
well, actually, no. This time it's no technology. They've just got a nice old-fashioned pamphlet, because it happens that often. Big print. They're like, you take that home. It gives you all the information.
New Room loves a pamphlet.
Who wouldn't? Carl, I guess at this point, Adam Driver...
the other thing I wanted to bring up about this scene is she leans in and out of this scene like Scooby-Doo does in a cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
She
wraps her fingers around it, like pokes out, like, huh? Carl, I think we're at the point now where Adam Driver, I guess after being shot, is creatively fulfilled and knows what he has to do. Before this happens, Shia LaBeouf is like, right, okay, we really should have killed him. He's now a martyr. Everyone loves him. We need to commit. I know what I'll do. Audrey Plaza in the background, wow, platinum, has been like, we should get all the money from the bank, John Voight, and then us two can like control it. Thoughts?
Yeah.
And they're both on side.
They're like, okay, let's do it. So we have the IMAX in Sydney's only opened up again recently, and it's so brand new. It's great. And I myself have never actually seen a sex scene on IMAX, but this movie goes, we're going for it.
Yeah.
This Auntie Wow Shia LaBeouf sex scene is just so campy And this is where I think people stopped taking the entire film with any sort of seriousness or sincerity and were like, this movie's just wacky decisions from this point on.
Yeah.
You know what it's like...
I think
the
those two arcs, when those two arcs, the
How
crowd,
much was your cinema laughing down where you were?
there was a lot of laughter.
Yeah.
I think a lot of laughter, and I think a lot of nervous laughter, and then I think a lot of just like, that is crazy that we're seeing that on screen.
Yeah.
I think we've been pretty like dull. Most of it I could have screamed like, what's going on to everyone left and right of me.
Yeah.
That was the vibe. This got a laugh, but I think it's almost like, listen, these two have been wacky as hell the whole time. Good for them, huh?
Yeah.
We should also say, scattered throughout, a lot of incest, just sprinkled through.
Oh, there's so much incest.
So much
through it.
incest.
But
I
you
feel
know,
like
it is New York.
It's New York.
It's Megalopolis.
It's the big apple, the
Adam-
big incest apple.
Adam Driver was like, in my city, there's going to be even more incest within the artichokes.
Every utopia has incest, and that's a rule. They bunk. I will admit, you're right. In IMAX, I was at the bottom. All I could see was their feet. It was aggressive. Shia LaBeouf had some toes hanging out, and it was hot.
He did.
It
He was
hot as
sucking
hell.
on a lot of toes.
Oh yeah,
It was pretty, and she keeps on being like, "Call me Auntie Wow,"
yeah.
and like saying like, "Fuck me, Auntie Wow," and
Yeah.
you're like, "Okay, I guess this scene's just gonna go for a
Yeah.
while."
At one point, I stayed behind and looked at the credits. Sam Mendes is credited as a thank you. Sam Mendes? No.
Sam Levinson.
Sam Levinson. And you can just almost feel him behind the camera going, make them just kiss.
He's definitely hot off of The Idol, and he's like, I just made a bunch of decisions on The Idol, and I
would've
think they're
loved-
gonna work. So let's just chuck them all in this film as well.
I just had the weekend, and let me tell you right now, Francis, if you want to make some fucking money, get them to fucking plow. I'm talking get Shia LaBeouf, Audrey Plaza, macking it out, and making it a bit freaky. Fuck it. The weekend and I did it, and we're gonna make loads of cash.
He's like, your movie's gonna make so much money. What actors have you got? And he's like, I've mainly just got cancelled celebrities. So we got Shia, John Voight, Dustin Hoffman. Like, we've got them all.
It does feel, again, I want to give Francis a lot of leeway. I don't think he's been outside in 10 years.
I think it's who was available, and he was like, there's still a name, right? They're like, look, the internet was
Again,
never
they
going to
had
watch your movie anyway.
There was
so
no producer telling them just like, man. He was like, what about that Army Hammer fella, huh? Can we get him? Can we get him? Jason can be out. Huh?
Can Harvey produce the film? Is he still available? Just so out of the loop.
There's a film where he has Bill Cosby in it. I can't remember. I think it's one of those
Godfather
recent...
Part 3.
Sophia and him macking out. It's pretty tasteful.
The Sophia and Cosby cut, and it's crazy.
Anyway, they team up, and the plans are pretty much like, well, let's just fucking, make John Voight have a stroke in a bathtub, a bathhouse. I like this scene, because I think it's projected onto it, and Audrey Plaza's, like, clicking her fingers in front of the
Well,
screen.
she's doing so she said there's 3 things we have to do a takeover,
Yeah.
and every time they achieve one of them, her hand pops up on screen and goes, 1,
But it has this great
2,
sound effect, like,
shik. Yeah, it's the knives coming up. At this point, the sound design's going wacky.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know why they're like, oh no, if things happen that, like, if somebody, like, throws down a plate on the ground, it goes, boing! Like, that's the sound design now. And you're like, okay, fun.
their plans to do that. John Voight is disgusted and has a stroke,
Yeah.
and they're like, fan-fucking-tastic. Let's fuck on his bed as a bit of a fuck you to John Voight.
Yeah.
Carl, at this point in the movie, you're 3 hours
Where do you
in.
reckon we are? Like, where the fuck are we meant to be? They've had a baby.
They've had a baby. I think the mayor is pissed. Adam Driver's going to save it.
Is he, though?
Anyway,
Is he?
I don't know, but I think we're meant to imply that there's a lot of rioting happening with the city because it's uneasy. I don't know who to really side with. It seems like the rioters are right, because you'd be like, you spent how much fucking money? Our whole thing got blown up by a meteor, and now you want to have us big travelers and live in flowers. You'd be a bit ticked off, okay? You'd be a bit ticked off. I don't know where we're at. However, we get to the John Voight bed scene.
Oh, yeah, you want to go straight to the John Voight bed scene?
Do you have? I can't really remember what we've got in the middle.
Sorry? Yeah, but there's that. It's literally, this takeover happens, and then we're at the end of the movie.
All right, cool. All right, do you want?
But I'm more just like, where's the what's occurred? You know?
Yes.
Like we're literally jumping around with these 2 other background actors, and we get to the end, and there's just like this scene where Giancarlo Esposito is like, I'm going to do something about this. And they're like, stop what you're doing. Adam Driver's incriminating himself. And you go, how is he incriminating himself?
They point over to the flower thing. It's now just a big steaming thing.
He's just on a flower. He's just on a big flower. He's not even mic'd. And he's just yelling at a crowd.
There's a CGI him in the sky that's projected onto a cloud. I don't know the technology, but it looks great.
I mean, if everyone has telekinesis and he can stop time and whatnot, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what the...
Adam Driver has... And I remember sitting up because I'm like, okay, this is definitely the end. This monologue is going to be important. This is going to be a moment. I need to take it all in.
This is going to bring it together.
This is going to bring it together. I couldn't recite to you a single word. I think for a half, he starts going, let's start this whole thing in Latin. And I go... Oh, man, and it just really crumbles, and you kind of think, man, I don't really know where this is going. And Carl, where's it go?
Sorry. Man, it goes nowhere. That's right. Their plot is just all to the side, and now the action begins.
The action and the climax of the film finally happens. This is
what we needed. Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, they go into John Voight's bedroom. John Voight's there. He's been jacking off. His erection is giant under the sheets. They walk in and he goes, what do you think of my boner? And you just go, wow, this
I
is
can't
cinema.
stress you, in IMAX, John Voight's cock was giant.
It was so big.
It was about 15 meters high. And I went, wow, I think I finally get the film. It's beautiful because they're like, I don't care about that old sack of shit. Let's go fuck in the bed to fuck with him.
Yeah.
John Voight does not have a boner. What does he have, Carl?
Turns out it's a bow and arrow.
Yes.
That's right. And he's like, fuck you both. Shoots on it Aubrey
Plaza.
Plaza.
Again, it's not like a crossbow. It's a literal bow and arrow.
Yeah, like he has to peel it back.
It's got 30 seconds, and he's really fucking straight. It's like,
yeah. He has to be like, pew.
Aubrey Plaza gets it right in the chest, and this got, I think, claps in my area.
Oh, it did as well. It got the biggest laugh up in mine.
I think it was funny.
Yeah.
I think it's cheeky, and it's great. I'm all on board with this choice.
I think it is, but I don't know if it's purposely funny.
I think there's no way this is not maybe purposely
funny. I know that you think that.
No, I know.
But there's been so much about the movie that hasn't been purposely funny that I just think...
Either Aubrey Plaza knew what was going on, or Francis Ford Coppola. Someone knew what's going on, because her face when she's dead is hilarious.
Look, this is... And I can't go on the record and say that the famous filmmaker in the cinema laughed at this scene, but he did. But I mean, we already said who the filmmaker was.
Yes.
Decode my message yourself.
It's a great laugh.
It's a great laugh.
Shia LaBeouf gets shot in the bottom as well.
Yeah, he
twice.
gets 2 in the butt.
Thrice. It's great.
You know what they say? 1 in the plaza, 2 in the butt.
Oh, that's really clever. I will say, I don't know.
1 in the plaza, 2 in the buff. Ah!
You fucking idiots. You fucking moron. You ruined this goddamn thing. I don't know how the rioters and elders, like, sort of everyone knows, but everyone knows that Shia LaBeouf's taken an L. And it seems like he walks out the building like, oh, my hiney. And they go, did you get shot in the bottom? That's right. Lynch the man. Lynch him. Lynch him.
They're like, the rule of the streets. Never be shot in the butt or you will hang. And he's just killed.
Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know what Adam Driver's speech does, but it really settles everything. Everyone's cool.
Everyone's happy. Giancarlo Esposito's like, that was awesome. That was a sick speech, and we thought you were incriminating yourself, and everything's fine now.
Yes.
And he's also just like, God, I'm happy that you have a baby with my daughter. Everything really is the best possible way things could ever be, ever.
I was a bit shocked at this ending, because it feels like it's like, we wrap it all up? It's like crazy to end on this note. I think it's quite a positive note of just like, hey, art can save the world. Not that I definitely think there's more to it than that, but that's kind of the vibe, right?
It needs to be understood on the record as well that Adam Driver created literally the ugliest looking city I've ever seen. Like, his Megalopolis sucks.
I love all the concept art that flashes on the screen. You're like, wow, this place is going to be amazing.
Yeah, right?
And then you're like, nuts, it's just a big pedal.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just lots of leaves. It's so leafy. And again, I can't stress you enough. They're just artichokes. They're just big. And some of them you're like, who's staying in the tall artichoke? And there's no windows in these artichokes.
I gotta tell you,
it looks like an awful life.
immediately, a class is gonna be happening.
Yeah.
Who's the tallest one? Who's on the biggest slide? It's immediate.
I think it would fall. I think the fact that this is just a little part of the city is just this little circle. I'm like, I actually think everyone's gonna revolt and just kill this city.
Yeah,
Like, I actually think the city's worse off now.
I think so.
I think a revolution's brewing because those people.
No, it's been. Yeah, I imagine that lynching someone and then going right. Let's go back to our flower house and
Yeah,
chill.
that's right. Like, I mean, they've just killed
People are tense.
Yeah.
You don't kill a man.
Things actually can't be more tense, Like, John Voight as well is like, and I'm gonna fund everything.
Yes, John Voight at the end is like, I want to redeem myself. I'm going to give Adam
He wants
Driver
to be remembered.
all the money.
Yeah.
And I guess that's fund the arts or fund the next movie. Please fund my next movie, somebody. You'll be remembered forever as a great person. Carl, it ends. Are we happy with the ending?
Yeah, so Giancarlo Esposito shakes hands with Adam Driver.
They're in Times Square. It's all golden.
It's definitely a look. And
It's pretty hideous, I'd
It's
say.
awful. It
It's
looks
definitely
terrible.
the hideous.
It's actually, I'm going to see right now, is the final shot of the movie disgusting.
Yeah, it feels like, again, if it was any other film, I'd be like, oh man, it's got inserted from an ending that got shaved off. But I think this was purposeful.
The movie throughout it kept doing like we're gonna circle in on things like the.
I liked
everything-
the effect. It was like let's be a bit cheeky with it. Let's do like sort of as like early like films from the 1910s of like we're gonna just like circle around someone. That's who you gotta look at.
Yeah.
This ending is not the one to do it because then it reminds you of like that's all, folks.
Yeah.
And that's it's a weird thing to end on.
Adam Driver picks up a baby and like gives it to Giancarlo Esposito, and he's like, "Oh, my granddaughter, I'm gonna sit you on a little rug, and you can just sit down on the glass on little rug, and we'll just be up here and we'll wave, and we'll just love waving out at everybody."
The biggest groan of my cinema was also that midway through the film, Adam Driver's like, "We're gonna call it either Summer Hope or we're gonna call it Francis." And a guy
That got a big laugh upstairs.
that got a hideous groan from like people going, "Oh no!"
Oh, crazy! It ends here.
It's crazy. It really doesn't feel like it's ending. You're just like, I guess that's where we're finishing up. That's it. Goodness.
Yep, that's where we're at.
Carl, who would watch Megalopolis?
I think this is tough because let's discuss.
Let's discuss. Maybe not the who would watch his first one. What do you think?
Okay, I don't look. I think that this is a really big swing, and I love a big bold swing. And we love like auteur filmmakers doing shit. They're doing stuff. Francis has done something outside of the studio. He's gone out on a limb. This movie definitely has a vision. It's really bold. It's doing something really unique. It feels like a movie I've never really seen before.
Yep.
And those are all really good positives. On top of that, the movie has basically no structure. And I think it's very at like face value. And I think it's just it's a very surface level endeavor. And I wish there was actually just more to it so that I could just feel like wanting to watch it again or feel like there was more to unpack.
Yeah.
But I think if I was to ever watch it again, I think I'd just hate it more. Like, I think what I enjoyed here was watching it in an IMAX with people who had never seen it, had no idea what to expect from it. Like, I enjoyed that experience. And I think if I was to watch it again, I would just be like, this movie is so not structured and so... Because I can't say I was ever bored, but it was definitely like some scenes are just so disinteresting. Like, and the fact that the dialogue and the acting and the scenery is wacky is elevating it, but you're like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
I actually can't even comprehend the conversation that's going on. It just feels like fucking nothing.
Yeah.
So I love what it's trying to do, and I love that it's made. But I do not like it. I think it's really wacky, and I think it's really fun. I think if you're already going to go see it, you're just going to go see it.
Yeah.
And I think if you're an average audience member that enjoys going to the movies, you'll definitely hate it. There's nothing to fucking get out of it. There's no character arcs.
Yeah.
The conflicts, like I said, most of the conflicts off screen, and then just gets resolved.
Yeah.
So, Are you really getting invested in anything?
I think if you're going into this looking for a traditional movie, you're not going to get it. I don't even think you're really going to get an art house film in the sense. Like, I've seen art house films. I like some art house films. I don't like some art house films. This doesn't feel like that at all, almost. It really does feel like overpacked. I don't know whether that's because it's got some depth to it, but I think it wants to capture a lot of things.
Yeah.
It wants to capture, I think, the history of this man, his legacy, his ego, how directing works. All, like, it wants to encapsulate Rome and, like, how, like, people and, like, politics and how, like, utopias work. It has so many ideas and it has so many things to throw at you. I would think I want to give it the grace. Again, this keeps changing maybe hour to hour if I hate it or love it, but I want to give it more. I don't mind giving it more. However, I think it has gone, well, I'm not doing structure, I'm not doing characters. I don't even think it's going, I'm doing like an analogy. I don't know what it's giving, but it's giving something enough that I'm happy to go along with it. However, I will say, like, here's the thing. It's a $120 million thing. It's pretty much the opposite of a Marvel movie in every regard, but with that budget. And that's interesting.
I would also say on top of 120 million, I don't think it looks like it cost 120 million. I think it sometimes looks good.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know. I feel like this could have been 80.
You hear all the sort of rumors. It seems like there were days wasted, and it
Yeah,
seems
it
like,
does.
and it seems
That's
you can
true,
you
yeah.
can see on screen the scenes that have been kept in and gone. I think that was just sort of after lunch, you know. Yeah, I really don't know why. I am so happy I've seen it, and I really
I'm happy I've seen it as well.
I can't stress to you enough. I really do think everyone should go watch it.
You reckon everyone should go watch it? You reckon everyone that's
I
like...
would love for everyone to go watch it, and I think he would too. And I think his biggest fucking L is thinking this is going to make
people are going to want to watch it?
This is going to make money. I think I don't know. I hope for God's sake that he was just like, listen, this is my legacy film. I want to make a big film. I want to make a big epic film. I hope he didn't want to make money because I don't know. Like, we're big film people. I don't know. And I told everyone that I've gone and seen it, and they go, "What's it about?" And you tell them, and go, "Oh man, that sounds dreadful."
Yeah, I've only turned people off of it, and that's not me trying to
Do you
turn
think that'd
people
make
off
people
of it.
Curious for it. I am excited to see what happens in September when this film actually.
Wouldn't it be
gets to
crazy if it broke out?
What if we're idiots?
Yeah.
But I'm happy to give it more. I just think there's too much here to be just sort of like, because here's the thing, all the silly scenes, insane. Everything at a literal sense is insane. I just don't know how to approach this film, and I quite enjoy that. I've never really had that for a film.
Yeah.
That I don't really know how to break it down. I love that. I don't know whether I'm going to break it down and go, oh god, there's fucking nothing here, what an idiot. But I'm happy to give it another go.
Yeah.
That would be my sort of takeaway.
I just don't think there's anything here. Like, because I just don't think the movie ever settles itself long enough to actually want to say or do anything. Because it all feels like it's like the weird shot he just has at the music industry, and you're like, oh, okay.
That I agree. That's the thing. It's like, it's odd you would put so much into this film and then be left with a very like bland take of just, doesn't this just happen in the music industry? It's odd that a film would do that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know why
But
you would take so long. Maybe it's one, marketing on his behalf of sort of like this big auteur doing this sort of stuff. But you look at The Godfather, you look at not Tropic Thunder, always get this confused. Hard Darkness, not that one either.
Apocalypse Now.
But even like Dracula and stuff like that. His last I
Yeah.
need to see his last like 2 films, I think.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Really that
Yeah.
bad.
Like, I think that's the thing that I can't give, is I'm like, yeah, he made great films.
Yeah.
But he's also made a lot of really not very good movies.
Yes.
And so I'm like, it's hard to be like, I think just because this is his biggest budget in such a long time.
And that is something I think maybe I'm getting swept up in, the marketing and just almost the story and the narrative behind it, that I'm happy to give it more.
Yeah.
I will also say, just one of my favorite movie experiences was going to see this, and then after, like, we chatted for about 2 hours after this movie,
Yeah.
and just trying to deconstruct and just imagine just everything that came up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would actually watch it? And I'm talking like, who is it actually for? I gotta tell you, if you really, really are just a bit, if you kind of go to like I don't know, if you hire clowns and you like clowns kind of, shaking you about a bit and kind of like spitting on you, and it's not sexual, you just kind of like being kind of scared a bit, and you kind of like it when, a big mushroom kind of comes flying through your house, kind of like spits on you again. A lot of spitting is what I'm getting about. That's who I think it's for. Carl, who do you think it's for?
I think it's for anyone that really wants to see a mess. Like, I thought Madame Web was like a mess, but it's actually a real.
We rewatched it, and it's fun.
This is what I thought. This is what I think would happen to me if I was to rewatch Megalopolis. Is we had a great time at Madame Web, and I was like, that was fun, and it was stupid, and it's terrible. And then we watched it again, and I was just bored. And I think without the spectacle of not knowing where it's going, what it's doing,
Yes.
I think I would just be like, oh, there's really just nothing. It's just people talking on skyscrapers.
I am very keen to look over it and almost just break down and just take it a bit slower. I think that's my thing. I would like to break down and go, right, what is this whole Colosseum thing? Let me actually like try and figure out what this is.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's more there. I don't know what the intent is.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Because I think the thing is I just don't trust him because I know I've seen Distant Vision, which is terrible, and Twix, which is also just awful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not like he's coming off of if he had just done done The Godfather's The Conversation and Apocalypse Now, and then this was his next one, I'd be like, oh wow, I think I misunderstood it.
Yes.
But because he's coming off of not made a good movie for like well over a decade, and not just not a good movie, but terrible films, that I'm like, I just don't know if he actually gets it anymore.
I don't think he gets it, but I think he's approaching it differently. And I think with a filmmaker that's got such a history, and like not just one-off, like he's made 5 very good films.
Yeah.
I would say. I think he's just approaching it differently. I don't think he's going for the narrative. Again, I will say this, like the editing, the blocking, the acting, the writing, the direction, the sound, and the music, and a lot of the things don't work at all in a traditional film through that lens. I wouldn't mind just trying to get in his head of what he was trying to do. That's where I'm happy to. I'm happy to go for there.
Yeah.
But
I think
I agree with you, though. But I just think with that background, I think the last couple of films, because I was having a look at the description of those, it seems as though he's gone, I'm going to do what's like a very abstract film. I think when you have the backing of very not standard films, but like traditional narrative that have probably some of the best arcs and like whatnot, that's when it's like, well, why didn't you just do that again? I don't think he's interested in doing that.
Yeah.
Or if he is, I don't know what happened.
All right. Well, we're just exhausted.
We're exhausted
so
again.
we have not picked another movie.
We've not picked another movie. Email us if you've got thoughts on Megalopolis. Let us know. It's a confusing mess, but we'd love to hear everyone's opinions. Let us know a movie. Yeah, this has just been a hectic weekend.
It has. It has. I saw 13 films, so I'm tired.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.